welcome to I Caught It on Audio. This is Water Cooler Chat Episode 11, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Part 5.
Welcome back to another 64 Tacos podcast. We're doing another water cooler chat about the Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars series on Disney Plus. And this episode is going to be about part 5. So they're on Jabim.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
They got there. They were being tracked by Reva, or I think her name is.
Right.
And thusly, the Empire.
The tracker was in the little robot that Leia had.
Lola, yep. And which apparently the tracker can override the robot's programming.
Yeah.
Which it was cool. It was cool to see that, but I wish they would have used a different term than tracker. Oh,
right.
We got a tracker and a restraining bolt on it or something, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool idea to get something on the inside of the rebel unit or those people. Then the Empire sieged the hideout.
Yep.
They got trapped in there and the Empire sieged the hideout, which was a little weird considering that you've got a whole Star Destroyer there and you sent down 2 dropships of troops.
Yeah.
It wasn't that many troops. I think I saw more troops die on camera than actually landed on the planet.
Yeah. And not to mention that massive hatch right up above the ship.
Yeah, you would think you'd want that to be kept open.
Yeah.
Like, I would want to keep that open and drop my ships right in.
Right.
Bomb their ships so they can't leave and drop my ships in.
Yep.
But
yeah.
It just seemed like tactically the Empire didn't make the best decisions on this whole episode.
Yep. And then Obi-Wan plays Reva against Vader because he figures out with the Force or whatever that, she's the youngling.
Which, I mean, we kind of figured.
Yeah.
They've been hinting heavily at that. It was not a surprise.
Right.
It was a surprise that she was working to assassinate Vader.
Yeah.
That was a fun surprise. I didn't see that coming.
And she had to keep it pretty under wraps for him to not know about it.
Yeah, also leads into awesome reveal of he's like, did you think I wouldn't recognize you?
Yeah. Yep.
And what's her name? Who had the lifter droid? She made quite the valiant last stand. I really liked her as a character.
Yeah, Tala. Mm-hmm.
Tala. I loved her as a character. I loved Lifter as a character. Simon's sitting there. He's all in on Lifter firing that blaster. And he's just... And then when the stormtroopers got too close, he just slammed the one into the ceiling. Simon was all in. And then when they went down so heroically and so... I mean, we've seen that type of thing where it goes to slow motion and the person's dying and another person has to get left behind for their own protection. We've seen it so many times, but this was really done well. I really enjoyed it. It was great camera work, great use of music, great acting. And
Leia saves the day by climbing up into the place that has all the wires and stuff and finding Lola there. And
Leia saved the day after ruining the day by bringing Lola there. So thank you, Leia. You've done a wash.
Yep.
You've cleared your name.
Yeah. So what are, if anything, what are some things that you didn't like about it? What was problematic?
The Empire's tactics in the siege were problematic.
Yeah.
They should have been able to overwhelm this ragtag group of untrained soldiers, no problem.
Yeah.
That I found problematic. Doesn't tell the best story, so I get why they did what they did.
Yeah.
But you could have also showcased rebellion ingenuity in this case. Hey, we've got the advantage. We got to bottleneck them here and here. We can set up traps. Like, it was just kind of a missed opportunity on both sides.
Right. Yeah.
So
you've got the power coming in, but they don't really seem all that powerful, or they're not really using it very well. And then you've got the underdog that could use ingenuity and special tactics, strategy to get out of the situation, and they kind of fumble around on that as well. I think that the part that really bugged me the most was the Vader grabbing the ship out of the air.
Oh man,
what did you think?
I can see why you don't like that. I loved it.
Yeah,
and I loved that. Like, we had a decoy ship.
Yep.
He grabs it and looks like he's straining. It looks like this isn't easy for him.
Right.
And that's what I liked about it. It looked like even though you can't see his face, even though he's just a blank slate essentially to look at, I felt like he was straining to pull that ship down.
Yeah.
Ripping the side of the ship out like he did was a little much for me, but it looked great.
It did.
And then the reveal with the second ship taking off.
Right.
I liked that. And logically, I know it doesn't make any sense, but it was fun.
It was fun, and it did look really cool, but it bothers me just because of the fact that it introduces new power elements or new force elements that really haven't. I mean, we've seen which I think it was it Rise of Skywalker where
Rey did the same thing.
Yeah. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just when that much power is exerted, and he was straining. But then it makes me think of A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back, where the Millennium Falcon is kind of getting away, and it's like, well, why can't he just reach out and grab, from the ship bridge or whatever, and just grab the ship that's fleeing and pull it back, until they can get a tractor beam on it or something. It just when they do stuff like that, it kind of downplays other things. I really wish they were just kind of keep it simple.
Let's be honest, because after that really awesome fight scene at the end of Rogue One, where Vader's just tearing through the rebel guards.
Yeah,
it's over. There's no continuity anymore. You just strap in for the ride and enjoy it, because I loved Rogue One. I thought it was very well done. But that ending Vader scene that takes place minutes to hours before Episode 4 starts.
Yeah.
That Vader is in no way linked to the slow-moving, philosophical Vader we see in Episode 4.
Yeah.
So I like this Vader. I loved the fight with him and Reva, whatever her name is.
Reva.
I loved that fight. Because she is so much faster and so much more agile than him, and she's flipping around, and he is just raw power.
Yeah.
That first half of the fight, he doesn't even have to ignite his lightsaber. He's like, you're just beneath me. I don't even have to.
Yep.
And then the second half of the fight, yet again, this fight in no way lines up with the fight we see between Obi-Wan and Vader in Episode 4.
Yeah.
That's just two old men swinging swords at each other, kind of, and talking.
Yeah.
But I love that fight. I love the reveal. I love that he's like, yeah, you think I didn't recognize you? I think what I'm getting to is this is my favorite episode so far.
Okay. Cool. Well, what else? So Grand Inquisitor is still alive. That was revealed.
Is probably my least favorite part of the whole episode.
Okay. Well, I mean, you knew he wasn't dead, right?
I don't know why you'd keep him alive. I feel like Vader would let him die.
Yeah. Well, I expected him to be alive just because I think doesn't he show up in some of the cartoon?
He's in Rebels, but Rebels takes place. I guess it would take place ahead of this.
Okay.
Leia's older.
Okay.
I guess.
I thought he was in one of the series that came after.
He would have to be alive still.
Yeah.
I just didn't put the timeline together because I never cared for him as a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have any favorite moments in this episode?
I thought it was nice having Haja back.
Always a pleasure to have Haja.
Yeah, just a brief time. I mean, overall it was fine. There was there's just the little complaints here and there, but it was nothing really major. I did really like, from a story standpoint, how they sort of bookended or tied everything into the past fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yes, I was going to talk about that, and I forgot about it.
They finally brought, Hayden Christensen, Anakin into it for real, and it's actually pretty important to the story.
It's the perfect parallel story.
It wove in and out. Mm-hmm.
Vader, Anakin's problem has always been ambition and feeling like he's owed something.
Yeah,
because he's naturally good, which the Emperor took advantage of.
Right.
So I like that we saw that. Obi-Wan understood how Vader would act and attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he looked genuinely hurt when he didn't get past Padawan there at the end.
Yep.
So that was a great little interjection we had. That was a parallel to the story that was ongoing. It was very well done
and nicely connected to what was actually happening, of how Obi-Wan had to use his weakness against him.
Yeah, and also how Obi-Wan is looking at a much bigger picture, and Anakin / Vader is kind of hyper focused on himself. Which, I mean, I liked how they handled that in the Clone Wars too, where he's a hero, but he's kind of glad he's a hero. He likes being the hero,
mm-hmm.
which is not the Jedi way.
Yeah. So the after Reva gets stabbed and left for dead, she finds the little communicator, transmitter, whatever you call it, thing that has the Bail Organa message, holograph message on it. And so now she knows that Luke is on Tatooine. What I'm trying to figure out is, why would she care about that?
Well, that's just it. There didn't seem to be enough information about that, other than there's someone important on Tatooine.
Yeah.
A boy.
Yeah.
And Owen is the name Owen was given, if I remember right.
Yes.
Yep. There's got to be more than one Owen on all of Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
For one, that it didn't seem like enough information was given,
but it seemed important.
She seems like she's on her last legs. I don't know why it even matters that she's seen it.
Yeah.
But then that last shot, panning over to Luke, makes you think that something's going to happen on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Now, I would love even just a little bit, 10 minutes of a Luke story. I thought this whole thing would be an Obi-Wan Luke story. I really did.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was in the comic book. And it was a lot of Obi-Wan trying to help Luke and Uncle Owen, cutting that off. Hey, man, just like he did in this.
Yeah.
That's not the way. You know how it turned out for his dad. We don't need that happening again. Come on.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So... Luke has been and probably always will be my favorite Star Wars character, as long as you don't count those 3 movies that never happened.
Yeah. So, real briefly, my prediction is, I think Reva is going to survive and probably, go into a back to tank off camera and heal all of her wounds. And then she's going to go to Tatooine and try and find Luke and potentially try and kill him. I don't really know why, but that, maybe just because she's upset with Obi-Wan having used her or something like that. I think there's going to be a big battle sequence between her and Obi-Wan is going to have to probably kill her. Because this is a character that, as far as I know, has never shown up anywhere else, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, and I think it probably makes the most sense for this story, and to maintain some attempt at continuity, is to have her become sort of like the villain, take over the Darth Vader villain role, and have the sort of final battle between her and Obi-Wan. Now, I'm hoping it doesn't go that way because I that seems too obvious and convenient, and we'll find out. And
it would
very
make
soon.
sense though, because she's someone who feels, at least how I'm taking it from what I've seen so far, she feels like she's been used by everybody.
Yeah.
The Jedi used her. They promised her protection. They turned on her in the form of Anakin, and no one from the Jedi saved her.
Yep.
Then she's with the Inquisitors, and they look at her as kind of a second-class citizen, that gutter trash that's in our ranks. Even though she's quite capable, she's gutter trash. Yeah, she's got every right to feel used. Because she was.
And then she gives into Obi-Wan, probably against her better judgment, because she thinks the time is right to actually, end it with Vader. And then as Vader says, Obi-Wan just used you to get to me or to get away,
Vader did say that, but she was on board. She saw the opportunity Obi-Wan was giving her. This wasn't just Obi-Wan using her. He's like, hey, we can help each other.
Yeah.
I didn't see it as Obi-Wan like using her.
Right.
I guess it could be seen that way. You wouldn't be wrong to think that.
Yeah.
But I saw it as, hey, I know what you want. I can give you that opportunity, and it works out better for both of us this way.
Yeah. Assuming you can actually take down Lord Vader.
Well, that's on you.
Yeah.
What you're doing's foolish. But that's on you. Like, if you really want to try that, that's on you.
Yeah.
Really, he didn't even need to do that. Like, how much did she delay Vader after they escaped? 0 before they escaped. And after they escaped, what? 3 minutes?
Yeah.
It was kind of pointless for her. She should have waited for a better opportunity.
Yeah. Speaking of pointless, we never got to find out who that Wade character was, or why he was so important that last episode. And that's okay.
I mean, honestly, if you and I showed up in the movie, and one of us died, the other one would probably be upset, but no one else would care because we're just second-tier characters. Well, we wouldn't even be second-tier. Be lucky to have 3 lines.
Yeah.
But to each other, we'd be very important. So
and then life moves on, right?
And we never see that first pilot again, as far as I'm aware.
Yep, I don't think so.
You got your line. You said Wade. You're done.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that does it for part 5. And tune in next time for the final episode for part 6 of the series.
I caught it on audio.